need your help for this one, please. When I say I'm in love, I need everybody to say, okay? There's a guy with a video camera. We cannot goof it up. So let's rehearse it one time. Ready? I'm in love. If you say it loud enough, Elvis just might hear us. So don't hold back. Ready?
All right, I'm making a documentary about something that happened to my grandfather in Las Vegas. My grampy was kind of like, he was the kind of guy that would wear like, you know, suits and hats. He was kind of like he was into all these weird things like shady real estate deals, but he had this huge gambling problem. Here's money for diapers. He'd be like, okay, I'll be right back. He'd go to Vegas for like 3 weeks. He's just like gone out there. Woo! He runs away from home in the night, and he goes and he has this old Cadillac like stored away in storage that his wife didn't know about. And he drives the Cadillac until it dies somewhere in Colorado. So he steals 13 cars between like Colorado and Las Vegas. One of these cars it just happens by fate to belong to a jewelry salesman who has these 2 big huge suitcases of like uncut diamonds and like pieces of costume jewelry, big hunks of like gold, and he steals this guy's car, finds the shit in the trunk, and is like, Vegas! At one point he was so successful in Vegas that he actually had unlimited credit. During the day, selling off this jewelry piece by piece, and then at night he would put on a suit or like a rented tux and go to the palace where he was like a high roller, where he was like this big rich guy, and they had no idea it was like a scam. He was just a thief. But then he starts losing, and he has all this credit, but he starts amassing these huge debts, and the palace is like, you know, we need our money or we're gonna break your fucking legs. So he takes some money out from like some local loan sharks. He's like, I just need a couple grand, like, to get it back. And like, we'll take care of you. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. He loses it all in like 20 minutes. Thousands of dollars. He's in the hole again. Now the casinos are after him. The loan sharks are after him. He doesn't know what to do. He owes them all this money. He ran away from home. Everything he owns in the world is stolen from someone else's car. He has like stereos, car batteries, and like house coats and things like that. He doesn't have anything real. So he decides. So he's thinking to himself, how am I going to get out of this mess? I'm in a jam here. What do? I know. I'll rob a bank. That's the perfect solution. He pawned like a hunk of gold and bought a .38 special. It was a cop's gun. Okay, he's living in Vegas under an alias, but he has a bank, and he goes to his bank. His bank! The bank he goes to every day. Walks up to the teller that he knows that he sees every day. He's like, hi, how you doing? Nice to see you. Give me all of your fucking money. They call the cops and they're like, do you know who he is? We're like, yeah, we know who he is. He lives right over there. They go to Grampy's house and they surround the place and they're like, come out with your hands up. And Grampy decides, no. Fuck you. I am not coming out with my hands up. If you want me, you're gonna have to kill me. Nobody takes Grampy alive. So he kicks out the living room window, and runs out, guns blazing. And they shoot him in the arm, in the chest, and the leg, and then he bleeds to death in the street, waiting for the ambulance.
And then the guy on the sound and light, he just started working for me yesterday. Jason.
They gave me a brown box, a plastic box that was about this big, about that wide, and about that deep. And it had a little label on it that said who it was, and it was his ashes. And I sort of tucked it under my arm, and I caught myself like walking out of the police station, like, you know, like I was holding a newspaper. And I remember thinking how odd. He must have carried me like that when I was a baby. And it was in the police station. And the realization that I was carrying my dad under my arm, and the stepping out and hoping for a breath of fresh air and getting Vegas air, you know, and the cityscape. As the story goes from the police department, he stole 13 cars between here and Las Vegas. Going through these cars and then getting the next car and transferring all the stuff out of the trunk of the car that's out of gas or whatever and into the other car. I could see him doing it. And they were mostly Cadillacs. He had this thing about Cadillacs. He gets to Las Vegas. He starts to live there. He sets up shop. He gets an apartment. He gets a bank account. He gets a girlfriend. He's apparently selling jewelry. And the stuff that he found in the car, one of the cars apparently was a jewelry salesman's car. He would go and hawk these things, and then he would go and gamble, and he would win, and he would unhock the merchandise and deposit little $12 and $14, $15 checks into this bank, in the local Las Vegas bank. He went in there one day and with a note that we had for a little while, and his handwriting that I saw was evidence for a while. They kept it, but then we eventually got it. It didn't say give me all your money. It said give me like $6,239.49. It was a very specific amount down to the penny. Give me this much money. And of course, they pushed the alarm, and he had the gun, so nobody chased him out. The only mode of transportation that he had was this Peugeot 10-speed that he obviously found in somebody's car that was a very nice 10-speed, but it wasn't your typical getaway vehicle. He went home. Of course, they knew who he was and where he lived because he had filled out the card correctly. No one can quite figure out that. And he had went home and he was packing. There was a little courtyard apartment, sort of a U-shaped place, and they put guys in the front and the guys in the back, and they banged on the door and they told him to come out. And he said, I'm not coming out, I got a gun or whatever, and went to the back window. They gave me his possessions, all but the jewelry, which apparently there was some hold on because it probably actually belonged to somebody and they had 90 days to claim it. They gave me the Peugeot 10-speed, a pile of pawn tickets,